Are you okay, Gabriel?
Sure. Great. Why?
I'm worried about you.
If I were any better, Grace, I'd be dead. Now what's up?
You got another package this morning, overnight from Germany.
I was expecting that. Where is it?
Well, it kind of came open, but I salvaged the contents. There was a letter from your great-uncle Wolfgang and a journal.
The package just came open, huh? How'd you like the journal?
Someone has to look after you. You're in trouble, in case you didn't know it.
Yeah, you've been reading my horoscope again, haven't you, Grace?
Just read the journal carefully, Gabriel. Please.
I got it. St. George's book. Oh, Professor Hartridge. I'm glad you called. Did you? Oh, you did. You did. But wait, slow down. They agree. Really? You think that's them? Wheel within a wheel. Ogun agree, huh? Well, that does sound like it. Dambala, the snake. That's the wavy pattern at the bottom. Okay. The 1791 slave revolt in Santo Domingo. Well, why would the Veve show up there? Uh-huh. Okay. Look, I'll come over as soon as I can, okay? Relax, Professor. I'm excited too, but you're gonna give yourself a heart attack. Okay, thanks. See ya.
I wish you'd tell me what's going on. I swear you're gonna step into a hole you may never get out of.
Don't look so worried. No one knows what I'm doing. I'm perfectly safe, and I'm getting some great stuff for the book. Besides, there's something about all this. My dreams.
What about your dreams?
Oh, nothing. I'll be careful. I promise. Did you find out anything about that pattern I gave you?
Yeah, I did find something. I checked the microfiche at the public library. I found an article about a murder in 1810. The newspaper published part of a pattern found around the body. It looks damn close.
You're incredible. All that work.
Forget it.
Today's newspaper is on the counter. Times dated June 22nd, 1993. Disgusted with the state of the voodoo murder case, Gabriel turns right to his horoscope. The shadow upon you is no longer reversible.
Wonderful. This guy's really starting to bug me.
No kidding. I have a feeling if he can see us, they can see us.
Get the hell out of here.
The figure outside does not respond. It's a newspaper clipping from the year 1810. The newspaper clipping describes a ritualistic murder in Congo Square. It includes a rough sketch of a pattern found around the body. The sketch is very similar to the reconstructed Veve. Gunter Ritter's diary is leather-bound. Its parchment pages are old and fragile. Gabriel reads through the pages Wolfgang marked. He reads of Gunter Ritter's journey to Charleston as a witch hunter, hired by the townsmen to solve a series of ritualistic murders. He reads about Gunter's meeting with the beautiful slave woman, Tetela, and of Gunter's tormenting urges for her.
Paul bastard.
He reads of their physical union and passion, and of Gunter's investigation into the murders. The victims were all crew members on a certain slaving expedition to Africa, it seems. The second to the last entry describes Gunter's plan to set a trap for the coven committing the murders. He'd found a name on one of the surviving members of the crew, a man now living in the West Indies. Gunter has spread a false rumor that the man is returning to Charleston. He himself will impersonate a sailor and allow himself to fall into the hands of the coven. Naturally, Gunter has arranged for able-bodied assistants to follow and attack the coven before they can do him harm.
Ballsy son of a bitch, wasn't he?
Gabriel turns to the final entry of the journal. The letter is addressed to Gabriel from Wolfgang Ritter. Wolfgang's letter says,
Dear Gabriel, please read the enclosed journal carefully. It might help you understand your family's special obligations and our current predicament. God be with you. Uncle Wolfgang.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
How do you feel about New Orleans these days?
I'd rather be anywhere else in the world right now.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
No. Is that a voodoo word?
I don't think so. It's German.
No, sorry. I don't speak German.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
Could you research radar drums for me?
Rada drums? Sure. I don't think we have any books on that topic in the shop, but I'll contact our suppliers. Assuming any of them will extend you any credit.
Tell them it's an emergency.
Uh-huh. I can see where a Rada drum book would be incredibly urgent. Anything else?
I can't think of anything. I'm out of here. Try not to sell out the store while I'm gone.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Hartridge, what's the good word? Hartridge? Ah! Oh, God, not again. He's looked better.
whatever Hartridge may have learned, he can't share it with Gabriel now, at least not vocally. That would be up to the coroner.
I'm not touching that body. There must be something here about what Hartridge found out about that Veve. Damn, this is his notepad, but the top sheet's been taken. Hartridge's notes. This must be about the Veve.
Hartridge's notes are scribbled on the notepad paper.
Thank God Hartridge was a doodler.
A wastebasket next to the desk is filled with crumpled paper. There's nothing of interest in the wastebasket. It's Hartridge's file cabinet. The filing cabinet is locked. The shelves behind Hartridge's desk are full of old books. Before leaving the university, Gabriel notifies campus security about Hartridge's body.
Welcome, Seeker. You must be the one Dr. John called me about.
I guess so. My name is...
Wait. Gabriel Knight.
You're too quick for me.
Actually, Dr. John told me. You have come to the right place, Mr. Knight. Tell me how I can help.
A large, sluggish snake rests on the floor of the fancy bird cage. Apparently, Magenta is not a fastidious housekeeper. A shed skin shares the cage with its original owner. Magenta's snake looks a little sickly, but Gabriel would still rather not stick his hand in the cage. A large crystal ball is prominently displayed. Gabriel figures that many men have picked up things in Magenta's parlor, but he'd rather not. It's not that easy to get a message from the crystal ball. Magenta Moonbeam is wrapped in gauze and silks. She looks vaguely mysterious and mysteriously vague.
She's really not my type. Could I ask you a few questions?
Of course, Seeker.
Dr. John tells me you're a voodoo practitioner of some kind.
Yes, I'm a voodooian, a voodoo priestess.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
My practice is mainly selling charms and potions with magic power, such as gree-gree and voodoo oils. You know, everything from unrequited love to wandering spouses to winning a lawsuit. But my spells and charms are powerful, and they work.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Much of a voodooian's work is protecting her clients from the spells of others. I make special protective gree-gree to be worn in secret. They keep evil spells from working against my clients.
What?
The recipes for voodoo charms have been handed down from master to apprentice for centuries. I have told you all it is proper for you to know, Mr. Knight.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Why, that has nothing to do with me and my clientele. But I can tell you that you should stay as far from it as possible. There is badness there. Very bad.
So you don't think the voodoo aspects of the case are fake?
Fake? Let me tell you about fake. If I get information through the grapevine and make use of it, is that fake? No. That is part of a voodooian's power. If people don't believe, there's not much I can do. But if they do believe, that is a part of my power too. But there are things, monsieur. Things not even a little bit fake, I can tell you. Believe it or not, but stay away from it.
What do you...
I work hard on fine-tuning my spiritual antennae, Monsieur Knight. And I get a clear signal from that direction. Beware.
What can you tell me about Nolans?
Nolans is the center of voodoo practice in the United States.
What can you tell me about...
It is a fascinating city with many dark secrets.
What...
It is my favorite place in the world.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? You mean like my beloved Grimwald? She's a python, you know, quite deadly in the wrong hands. I was trained by one of the great voodoo queens to learn how to hypnotize and handle snakes.
Tell me,
Oh, I wouldn't want to give away my trade secrets.
what's the significance of St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve. It is the greatest night of the voodoo year. There is always a traditional conclave on St. John's Eve. Most of our voodoo churches these days hold functions in the church hall. But in the old days, they had ceremonies out in the wild. They wore animal masks and had a huge bonfire and dancing. I used to go when I was an apprentice. Sometimes in the swamp, you know, Bayou St. John. Sometimes at the lake, Lake Pontchartrain.
Do you have any idea what Cabrice and Call means?
No, I don't.
Do you know anything about Bebe?
I don't know anything about that.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh, yes. She was the first of the great voodoo queens.
Tell me about the animal masks.
I saw them used once or twice when I was younger, but you don't see them much anymore. They're too close.
Too close to what?
Just bad karma.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo houndful?
There are many voodoo churches in Nolens, no?
Yes, but have you heard of a secret voodoo houndful?
Wherever did you hear such a ridiculous story? There is no such thing.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
It is the oldest, darkest heart of voodoo. There are some things it's better not to know about, Monsieur Knight.
Does Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
I don't know anything about that.
Have you ever heard of Dambala?
I don't know anything about that.
Have you ever heard the word Schattenjäger?
I don't know anything about that.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes? What would you like to hear?
How did you get into this business?
I trained in the voodoo arts for many years with the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Who's she?
You have never heard of her? For shame. I can see you know little of the world of magic.
I'm beginning to get that impression, yes. What kind of people come to see you?
Seekers after the truth, such as yourself.
Do you do anything else?
I'm a voodooian. That is plenty. It takes much spiritual effort.
How many voodooians are there?
No one knows exactly. Many practice in secret. There are probably hundreds. But of course, the level and the power of the voodooians differ greatly, depending on their training and natural gifts.
Tell me anything at all.
I haven't always lived in Nolan. I came here from Kansas as a young woman.
Tell
I began studying voodoo more than 20 years ago. I'm well versed in the magical arts. Many non-believers come to me. They are usually believers when they leave. Dr. John sends me many seekers, such as yourself. I am happy here with my clientele and my snake. Very well.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
Where did you get Grimwald?
She belonged to a traveling reptile show. She was being terribly mistreated, so I offered to buy her. She's named after a spirit guide I had once. The spirit Grimwald was a very powerful female snake priestess in Egyptian times.
Grimwald doesn't sound Egyptian.
I only know what the spirits tell me, monsieur. I'm sure they know better than we.
How did you learn how to handle Grimwald?
I told you, a great voodoo queen taught me. She learned from Marie Laveau herself.
Uh-huh. Fascinating. Would you consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
No, I couldn't do that. You might do some gree-gree of your own, no? One must be very careful with such things. Hair clippings, nail parings, and snake scales.
Are you sure you wouldn't consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
I told you, I couldn't do that.
How about showing me how you handle Grimwald?
Really? You would like to see me dance, perhaps?
That would be swell.
No matter what you see, do not be frightened.
I'll give it my best shot.
Gabriel figures that many men have picked up things in Magentia's parlor, but he'd rather not. An overstuffed red chair from... Except for a shared snakeskin, the cage is currently empty.
There. Truly inspiring, isn't it?
That's certainly one word for it. Can I ask you a few more questions?
Certainly.
Nice place you've got here.
Thank you. For me, it's a sort of temple.
I can see that. Do you get many people in here on an average day?
Some days, the need for my power is greater than others. But I have many regular clients who would be lost without my vision, Mr. Knight.
I can imagine. That's a great-looking mask on the wall.
It's from Africa. A gift to me from Queen Tabitha.
Do you know Dr. John Well?
Oh, yes. We are old friends. Those with gifts are often drawn together.
So let's say I came to you wanting to attract a woman. What would you advise?
I wouldn't think you have any trouble attracting women, Mr. Knight.
No, I guess I don't. So what advice do you give your clients?
I tell them to follow the light, be aware of the darkness, and always get expert spiritual advice from someone with the sight.
That's what I thought you'd say. Can I ask?
Sir?
Give me an example of gree-gree.
All right. Here's an old one. Take a lodestone and some brimstone to a crossroads at midnight. Light the brimstone with a match. A spirit will come and give you advice in gambling.
Give me an example of gree-gree.
Yep.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
How about showing me your snake dance again?
I won't make you wait, Monsieur Knight. I shall again amaze you.
You certainly will.
Gabriel grabs the shed snake skin while Magenta is otherwise occupied.
there. Truly inspiring, isn't it?
That's certainly one word for it.
It's the shed skin from Moonbeam Snake. Gabriel magnifies the shed skin from a gentle moonbeam snake. The snake scales are hued brown. They don't match the scales from Lake Pontchartrain.
Do these symbols mean anything to you?
Ah, the voodoo code. It is very secret, yes. I studied it with my mentor, the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Great. Can you tell me what it says?
I'm afraid I could never translate this code for an outsider such as yourself, Monsieur Knight.
Are you sure you can't translate this for me?
As I said, it's a very secret code.
Surely you can see I'm trying to learn as much as I can here. How am I supposed to become an insider if you won't help me?
That's true, I suppose. Perhaps if the Loa were to grant you their approval.
How do I get there?
By using my Ask the Loa machine.
A machine?
Yes. A spirit guided me to it years ago in an antique store. And its guidance has never faltered. I trust it implicitly.
I see.
The spirits often work in mysterious ways, Mr. Knight. If you aren't willing to ask.
No, I'll ask. Let's see here.
Well done, Mr. Knight. You have earned the Loa's approval.
Truly, it's an honor. Now, about that code.
Let me see. Well, some of it is nonsense, I'm afraid. Whoever wrote this wasn't very good.
That's all right. Just tell me what it says.
It starts with a D and J. Then, okay, this part makes sense. It says, Conclave tonight, bring... Well, then there's more nonsense. FWETKASH. The last bit might mean cash. Fresh cash? Doesn't make much sense.
That's okay. Thanks. DJ Conclave KASH. It's a start.
I'm happy I could help.
Well, I guess I'll be going now.
As you wish. Do what you will, if it harm none.
Count on it. Why is it so dark in here? Dr. John? Hello? Uh-oh. You bastard!
Good day, Mr. Knight.
That thing just tried to kill me.
He did. I am sorry. The museum is closed today, you see. We were not expecting visitors. But if you will excuse me, Mr. Knight, I must go look for him. He is incredibly valuable.
You don't need to ask twice. I'm out of here. By the way, you might want to lock your door the next time you're closed.
Not a bad idea. Goodbye, Mr. Knight.
What happened to you?
Who, me? Nothing. Why?
You're kind of a pale green color. Come here.
Pale green, you say? Charming.
What's that on your face?
I'm sure you'll tell me.
Looks like a sparkly or something. Got it.
I love it when you pick stuff off my face, Grace.
Well, excuse me.
There's something in the ashtray. There's a snake scale in the ashtray. Gabriel can't see a way to use that. Gabriel finds a snake scale in the ashtray. It's a souvenir from the museum's python. He places the two scales together. The two iridescent scales are a perfect match. Gabriel has matched the Lake Pontchartrain scale with the scale from the museum python.
I've got some things I need to do.
Good luck.
Three nearly identical little girls are playing jump rope outside the station. There's something a little off about them.
Hey there, girls.
The little girls stare at Gabriel, but say nothing to him.
Hey, hey, hey.
Knight, come on in.
Mosley was one of those beefy guys in his youth. Now he's getting lumpy.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
No? Is that anything like a Chuck Yeager?
I don't think there's any relation. You know, you have a unique way of wearing clothes that's, well, the way they kind of hang, pleating over that stomach of yours, drooping off your butt.
We can't all have the body of a 12-year-old like you, Knight.
Have you ever heard
Not since the last time you asked.
Crash is dead?
What? What are you talking about? I let him go yesterday.
Yeah, and I watched him die yesterday at St. Louis Cathedral.
At the cathedral? I guess he was trying to get a last-minute A-train ticket, huh? Poor bastard.
I think you should go find the body at the morgue. He was killed by the voodoo cult. Crash said.
Crash said? What, he mentioned pink elephants, too?
Aren't you going to investigate?
Civilians. Did you actually see someone kill him?
No, actually I was with him when he died. Could have been poison, though.
Yeah, well, when they get the body in, they'll do a quick autopsy, standard procedure. If it's anything other than an overdose, I'll get a report.
There's been another murder. A professor at Tulane.
Oh, Christ. You're not gonna start this again.
Just listen. This guy's name is Hartridge. He was a professor in African Studies at Tulane. Now, yesterday I went to see him about the voodoo murders case. He agreed to do some research for me. He calls me up this morning, tells me he's on to something big, and when I get over there, the guy's dead.
You know, you're really getting your ass in a sling over this thing, Knight.
It's not about me. Look, Hartridge's death looked just like Crash's. I'm telling you, they were both murdered, and by the same people who did the voodoo murders.
Did either Crash or this new guy have their hearts ripped out?
No.
Then there's nothing to link either to the voodoo murders M.O. Besides that, the case is closed, Knight. If the coroner's report asks for a homicide investigation on either of these guys, fine. But it's not going to be related to the voodoo murders case unless we find damn good reason to do so.
But I'm the link to the voodoo murders case. Don't you see?
Look, if I were you, I wouldn't repeat that to anyone. Because if I weren't an old friend of yours, I might take you seriously and lock you up. As it is, maybe you should start keeping your mouth shut and not involve other people with this shit if you think it's so dangerous.
How can I convince you to reopen the case?
I already told you. You still need to prove that there's a legitimate voodoo cult in Narland. Prove that they're a threat. Get me a lead on the cult.
You know, if you started carrying a lollipop around, you might get more respect as a detective.
Go to hell.
I have these two snake scales. One's from the crime scene at Lake Pontchartrain. The other's from a snake in the Voodoo Museum on Ursulines and Charters.
Is this common? Do they all look alike?
Not at all. They're both constrictor scales and the coloring is the same. A python's coloring is quite individualistic.
A python?
That's right. Hardly an indigenous snake to Louisiana. Somehow, some way, the Voodoo Museum's python was at the scene of the Lake Pontchartrain murder.
Well, I'd call that a lead, all right. It definitely suggests certain lines of inquiry at the museum. Not bad work, Knight. Whether or not the museum's involved with a legitimate voodoo cult, though, is another matter. These guys may just be faking it, too.
You know those marks you found around the murder victims? This is a reconstruction of the whole pattern.
What makes you think this is an accurate reconstruction?
Well, I borrowed the partial patterns from your police file and did my own tracing of the pattern at Lake Pontchartrain. An architectural artist reconstructed it for me from the partials.
Really? So this is the whole pattern, huh? That's pretty good work, Knight. But that doesn't prove that this pattern is really connected to voodoo.
This is a newspaper clipping about a murder committed in 1810. That murder is an exact match of the voodoo murders, right down to the marks around the bodies.
This does sound like the same M.O. 1810.
1810. They killed then, they're killing now. Isn't that proof that they're likely to kill again? Or that they are a threat?
Sure, if there is a voodoo cult, they're a threat.
Mosley's seen as much in that scale as he's going to.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
How can I convince you to reopen the case?
I already told you. You still need to prove that there's a legitimate voodoo cult in Narland.
I have this. Take a look at these notes. They're from Professor Hartridge at Tulane University.
Yeah? What about them?
They confirm that the pattern for the murders is of African origin.
Really? That's incredible, isn't it? Something like that showing up here.
It's been here for quite some time, so it seems.
I'm impressed. Okay, you convinced me. The murders were done by a legitimate voodoo cult. Okay, I'll reopen the case. I hate to admit it, but you've done some pretty good detective work here, Knight.
Well, you know what they say. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Well, point taken. Glad I could inspire you. I'll check around the department, but I have a feeling I'm on my own. I'll be in touch. Meanwhile, you stay out of trouble. I mean it.
I'll try. Thanks, bud.
Now lay low and let me handle this.
Yeah, fine.
It's getting late. Gabriel decides to go home for the day.